Hey, Jesse Ray, it's good to meet you.
So I might have been a little bit less than forthcoming with you.
Yeah,
What we're doing.
That's a camera.
Yeah, so
I was wondering why. I thought somebody had a floodlight or something.
yeah, we're gonna hopefully treat you to a good weekend this weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
what?
yeah, no, we got you on the spot here a little bit,
Yeah.
but we're gonna pull out and just go right down the road. It's not. It's not even half mile down the road, and
Okay.
it just falls into the ranch, and we'll go up to the ranch house and have a good time.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Let's do it then.
all right.
Finally, just one night in a moment of frustration, I'd hiked in. I think it may have been even the day I hurt this ankle. I text Pat and I said, "Hey, look, man, I know you know a lot of people. Is there any way that you can see if somebody can just give me access to hunt? You know, and a whole lot of other things." But I said, I just need access to hunt. That's all I need. That's all I want, dude. If you can line that up, that'd be awesome. And I left it at that. Wow. I met Justin 2006. I met him for the first time, and it was in Muktadia at Fob Normandy. I met him. He was a part of 6th Squadron, 9th U.S. Armored Reconnaissance. So he was a hard-charging Bradley tank commander, basically, and a section sergeant, and I looked up to him a bunch. So I kind of got over there, and he was one of the guys that took me under his wing, and I've known him since then. With a little break-in service, but for the most part, I've known him since then.
I first heard about Trinity Oaks probably 5 years ago through a buddy named Doug Parker and a guy named Jeff Green, and we'd come out here to Rattlesnake, and we'd leave, and Doug would leave and say, "Man, you need to come down to Houston to do this shooter. You need to come down to Houston and to this gala." And what are you talking about? It's this thing called Trinity Oaks. And we're like, yeah. Okay, yeah, man. Well, yeah, sure. Send me some information. And throughout the years, I kept hearing about it, and then I finally met you, Doug Parker, and you and I went out to lunch one day, probably about a year ago, and it's been a fast trip since then, and we've got to know each other. I think we're brothers now, and it's been great.
As I was working with an artist, a piano player by the name of John Michael Whitby. He's the piano player for George Strait, and me and him had been working together for about 4 years. And first year I met with John Michael back in 2013, he had asked if I was interested in going out into South Texas with a nonprofit organization called Trinity Oaks. And I asked him what Trinity Oaks was, and he said, "Well, this weekend we're focused on helping veterans get out in the outdoors and take them out hunting and fishing and get them welcome to the outdoors."
Well, Dale Benditz and Dale and Susan are just super friends of mine and my wife, and just our mutual buddies. Dale and I went to high school together, played football together with Doug Parker, and we get together up here at Rattlesnake Springs Ranch once a year, and we've been doing it for 12 years or so, I don't know, since they've owned this place. And Rattlesnake Springs Ranch is just a beautiful ranch with a lot of African plains game, a lot of native Texas game, whitetail. Of course, we got pigs that we like to stick every once in a while, and of course the access and that sort of thing. So all of the good big game animals here, and of course you'll see some ducks roll through every once in a while. I met Doc, if you will, through texting, like we always do, and then finally got connected, on the phone, and we talked about it. And then we said, look, we're kind of hiding it from Doc as to the quality of this place. And I said, look, man, I got some permission from a buddy that owns some land down south of Kerrville. And so we're going to get through the gate, but it's just best that you just meet me in Camp Birdie, and then I'll drive you to the gate and we'll let you in. And hey, there's a cabin that we can sleep in. You don't need to bring anything, food. We got it. And he got here after dark, and we kind of wanted to see the shock factor in his face, but I think he's shocked.
I was amazed. First of all, I was bewildered. That might be the word, because my first deal was, we met up in a parking lot down the road, and Mr. Guy says, so I may have, I don't know what he said, I may have kept it a secret, maybe a little bit different than I told you, or something like that. And so then I was kind of bewildered, and we came through the gates, and then I was amazed. I was just had a hard time putting it into wrapping my head around it, in other words. Honestly, I was a little bit nervous because I don't really make friends that easily. And not because I just don't like people, it's difficult for me sometimes to want to open up or to, just to be a part of a social setting. I don't know why. It hasn't always been that way, but it is. And so I was a little nervous. I think I even told Pat, I said, man, I feel a little bit afraid of going to meet guys. And he's like, don't worry about it, just have a good time.
And we got here and all hung out and waited for you and Justin to get here, and he was surprised with Justin. And got up the next morning and hunted and saw some good game. Didn't want to take anything, the first morning. That's fine. Saw a bunch of pigs and does and some younger bucks and some all-dad. And ended up taking an all-dad ewe and when he's been patient. He's been asking me, hey man, what can I take? What should I take? What should I do?
So that started with a surprise, after surprise after surprise. But to me, honestly, the thing that really put it over was seeing Pat. Because I've only seen Pat once last year, and the last time I saw him before that, we were in the Army. So this is the second time I've got to see him in a decade. So that was awesome. And then, and then all you guys, just a group of guys. There's no way I could have picked people I think I could have enjoyed being around as much as I enjoyed being around everybody. We laughed a bunch, we, hunted. I got out there and I got to get in a blind and watch animals. Everything I've ever hunted has been on public land. So on public land, you just don't see a whole lot of animals. They're over-hunted. They're just, very spooky. A lot of them turn nocturnal as soon as the first day of rifle season's over. They'll go nocturnal, and you won't see them anymore all season.
And so we went out and hunted last night on the evening, and we got to watch this mature buck sit under the feeder the whole evening. So we rushed back to camp, and I told Doc Reyes about this deer. I said, man, I think I got the one for you. And he was under the feeder the whole evening. I don't think he'll be spooked. Just sneak up in the morning and see what you can see.
I had a little bit, I'm just going to leave it at this. I had a little bit less than stellar performance. I had some great opportunities presented to me and failed at every level, and then failed again. So I was, eating my pride and, feeling pretty terrible about it. And then I went and had a little one-on-one time, with me and the big man upstairs, and got straightened out. Got my little attitude adjustment before I got out of the shower, and when by the time my feet were dry, I was just a heart full of gratitude and just happiness. And I walked in here and we laughed and listened to music and told stories, and man, I was just so filled with happiness last night. When I went to bed, I almost didn't go hunt today. I thought that's just the ideal way to leave it.
So we prayed about it last night, and sure enough, this morning, Doc gets up and we went to bed pretty late, but he was adamant to get up this morning and go out to the stand, and he harvested that buck and comes back, and we were extremely thrilled. And that's what it's about. That's what it really is about, is getting excited for one another and enjoying that excitement with one another too as well.
Got in the blind before dawn, and waited, and it didn't take long. So with the first little sliver of light, I just see this mass moving along the cedar, and that's pretty much when I knew it was about to get beyond. Yeah. So, I waited. I tried not to breathe much, honestly, and then when the light got a little better, I looked and saw I was looking at a big-bodied deer, and it wasn't until some does came around the corner, piqued his interest, that he lifted his head, and I saw that he looked good up top, and that he was old looking. I mean, he was just the perfect deer to, he had reached his potential, and I could not have asked for a better deer, honestly.
I didn't know that music would really affect these guys as much as that it has over the years now that I've been a part of Trinity Oaks. And so that's what really makes me keep coming back. It just rejuvenates my soul and reminds me that this music, it can be hard, but it also feeds other people's souls to another dimension that I had no idea existed. So starting out with Justin Patterson and Doc Reyes, it was immediately a great connection. Started off great, and it's been three amazing days out here. The positive feedback that you get from these veterans, after spending the weekends with them, you leave almost just becoming family and being a band of brothers, and there's times where you feel low in the music industry because it's such a nitty-gritty, I call it the food chain of rejection, and there's always ups and downs, but there always comes a time where I am feeling down about my career and this choice of music and the path that I've chosen for my life. But there's always the messages that come from the past veterans and the friendships that I've made, where they remind me to keep moving forward and to keep chasing that dream. And so that's a huge thing for me, and what I appreciate most is leaving just after 3 days with these gentlemen or women, and you grow these connections with one another, and they stay connected with you throughout the rest of your life. And so it's just been absolutely amazing, and to have that, I'm forever grateful.
So from Rattlesnake Springs Ranch and Hunt List and 6 Site Camouflage, if I can bring that stuff over here. We want to just present you with some stuff. So
I get some too?
Yes, sir.
Wow!
And here it is Sunday morning, his final hunt, and he shot a very nice older buck, an old warrior that's blind in one eye, good looking rack, and it's been kind of a storybook this whole weekend, and that doesn't even touch the blessings that I've received out of this weekend. You and Jesse and everybody say, thanks Robert, thanks Robert, thanks Robert. Shoot. I'm not saying it just because of the quality of what or like I'm supposed to say it. It's, the other night we were sitting around, you guys were playing guitars, and I was like, man, this is great. Praise music, he started playing praise music. I was texting Pete, I was like, this is awesome, you won't believe it. And he's like, you're a blessing to him. I said, I'm being blessed. So it's been a great weekend. Just the fact that he got his buck on his last day, that's great. Is all the story in between, all the fellowship we shared, and blessings over each meal, and everybody saying thank you, Lord, and really putting it in its right place, and the way that the story developed around Jesse and his story of the hunt, and the message that he said he received from God about it, and about putting that priority in the right place. It's not just about, I've got to go get my big buck, I've got to go get this, I've got to have this successful hunt, I've got to get this big buck, and how he said God brought it around to him, that it wasn't just about that. But I'm going to let him tell you that story.
The best way I can put it is this. You said the word mission. You've been given a mission, and you know what the end state is, but how you get there and what you need to do to accomplish that mission, I think that's the part I'm working out. But seeing all you guys, meeting everyone, and seeing the different, not personalities, but the different gifts that everybody brought to the table this weekend. It just, and how it all plugged in, it's like it leaves me wanting to find out what I have that I can plug in. And I think that's where I'm at right now, just trying to figure out how I can plug in to contribute to the team and to reaching that objective. And that's that is, I think, the best way I can say it right now. It's a good feeling though.
Let's talk about who all put this together.
Man, big thank you to Robert and Penny Geist from Hunt List,
Yep.
who made this entire thing possible. Now it's a dream.
Yeah. And the best part was they put us with Dale and Susan Bennett's at Rattlesnake Spring Ranch, and so we definitely want to say thank you to them as well. What about this camera?
Man, the gear, Stephen Hawley from Six Sight. I love it. Thank you so much.
We can't thank you guys enough. And Whit there, man, you guys. we love you.
Carlin Andreas, our camera dude.
And Zach Nighton come to do entertainment.
Man, music. He's got a gift. Music to the soul.
Did you have a great time?
Oh, I can't even tell you. The best.